talk about it in those terms, we are attributing the concept of consciousness with certain physical properties, which in vernacular terms are less physical than the solid physics of billiard balls. Now, they're in vernacular terms only in vernacular terms. But there is something very comforting about that, and I think to the extent that our intuitions are also kind of vernacular, that it does feel like it makes sense to say, you know, electromagnetic fields are kind of invisible, and this concept we call consciousness is kind of invisible, so that it's possible that they're quite similar. And it certainly eases the hard problem in terms of thinking about it. It eases that intuitive grasp, which I think is definitely a bonus. And to be honest with you, if I was going to pursue the hard problem, that's the way I would go. I would go at it in terms of language and understanding, rather than trying to solve the physics of it. Solving the real physics of it, the real neuroscience of it, is interesting and fantastic. But solving the epistemological problem, the understanding problem, that bit of it is it's a problem of philosophy and a problem of language. And I think what you've identified there is a great example of how that might work. Okay, so but obviously one of the difficulties is that whilst we think and talk in vernacular terms, and our intuitions are quite vernacular, as soon as we pursue that, we have to move into other kinds of more complex and more technical speech. So I think as soon as we develop those ideas, they start to fall apart. Oh, I've done over time. Look at this. It's 12 minutes and 15 seconds, Jeff. God, now what am I going to do? Oh well, I guess I'll just make a two-parter. I didn't realise, you see, I wasn't watching the time. That's what happens, you see, when you're enjoying yourself. Anyway, never mind. It's a beautiful day here in Cheshire, by the way. I've just noticed my image on this screen is bathed in the light that's coming through the kitchen window. And I'm not trying to do special effects, it's just unusual lighting here in the kitchen. Anyway, since I'm in the second part, I might as well just slow down a bit. Alright, yeah, so I think the problem is eased a bit. I'm saying that that doesn't necessarily mean it's right, it just makes understanding it easier. Yeah, I mean, to that extent, whether your EM theory is correct and produces, you know, gives the how of consciousness, or whether quantum theory gives the how of consciousness, in a sense it doesn't matter. Neither of those will solve the hard problem of consciousness. What will solve the hard problem of consciousness, in my opinion, and of course most people will say there isn't a hard problem to be solved at all, but in my opinion that hard problem, which is a problem of understanding, would be solved by very careful crafting of language and thought around those solutions. And you may be contributing to that, which is greatly appreciated. Anyway, thanks for doing all those videos. I can see you working really hard on that. It's great. Thanks a lot.